The battlefield does not grade on a curve, and you can't throw your pronouns at the enemy. Combat is the ultimate test, and our best Americans must ace.
Pete Hegseth delivered an address at West Point's graduation today, and I cannot imagine having to have been in that crowd listening to a man who has sent your fellow service members to die for Israel, for the Epstein class, to cover up the Epstein files and to make himself and Donald Trump a buck. I cannot imagine that. Which is why it is so great that there is reporting, which we are going to talk about in this video, of troops revolting, pushing back against Pete Hegseth and calling out the lies that he has told that have gotten them killed. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now I first just want to start with the disastrous speech that he gave. There were idiotic moments throughout it all. But it began with, "I can't even believe this," him giving a quote from Charlie Kirk.
Last and most importantly, seek God and know that we are not Him. It's humbling. It's also liberating. As Charlie Kirk often said, remember always, this too shall pass. The good times will pass. The bad times will pass. You're never as good as you think you are, nor are you as bad as you think you are. Seek God in every circumstance.
Charlie Kirk is a racist podcaster, okay? He wasn't a sage, he wasn't a philosopher, he wasn't one of the great minds of our time. He was a guy who clip-farmed at colleges to make money for Turning Point USA, to mock college kids, and to pretend an institution he didn't go to wasn't worthwhile, because he wants women in the kitchen. Although his wife has now become a racist podcaster who doesn't take care of her own kids. Like, when you even start to say the words, it sounds dumber than it already is. But why is Pete Hegseth quoting Charlie Kirk to a bunch of troops who are there, ostensibly of course, as Pete Hegseth would say, to defend our freedom against those who want to take it away from us? Isn't that what we've been told? But actually, if you say anything bad against Charlie Kirk, you do get kicked out of Pete Hegseth's military. Yes, you lose your job, or you lose your job any other place, because Donald Trump's government will come after you. So Pete Hegseth is demanding allegiance to Charlie Kirk. Our troops do not protect our freedom or our right to speak under Pete Hegseth's rule. No. They just reinforce what Donald Trump wants. And that is us praising a racist podcaster. And Pete Hegseth saying stuff like this. Again, we're going to get to the revolt, but I just need to get through some of this nonsense speech first. This was truly stupid.
The battlefield does not grade on a curve, and you can't throw your pronouns at the enemy. Combat is the ultimate test, and our best Americans must ace it.
Okay, so our enemies don't fear pronouns, whatever that means. I don't know who was on the battlefield throwing pronouns at people. It's not a thing. Conservatives really love to come up with some fake scenario to get mad at, don't they? Like that we're demanding we fight wars with pronouns. Actually, we'd rather just not fight wars with Iran like the one that Donald Trump is surrendering in today. No. We'd rather not fight those wars. We also don't think that AI slop and Donald Trump threatening to blow up entire civilizations is how you fight battles, because it clearly hasn't worked for him. But Hegseth still had to brag about his conflict. He did so right here. This is the last clip we're going to show from this speech, and then we're going to talk about the revolt.
Asked our airborne and rapid reaction forces to deploy at a moment's notice to the Middle East, standing as an iron shield to protect American bases and American lives from Iranian proxies. This includes American Army units using HIMARS to help sink the Iranian Navy. I know the Army loves sinking the Navy. That's the only Navy you're currently allowed to sink.
He's such a bloodthirsty warmongering maniac, and it might be because, of course, we've talked about this on the show. The profit that Pete Hegseth has seen from this war, trying to invest $3 million into defense ETFs before it started. But he just loves bloodlust, and he just loves killing people. Pete Hegseth is an idiot, a boob, and a stupid person. He's also a serial killer. That's something I say quite seriously. Not just of innocents abroad, but of Americans. And that is why troops are pushing back and reporting the failures of Pete Hegseth's non-planning of this war in a revolt to hopefully end his career. Pentagon Pete accused of failing to protect troops before deadly attack. Survivors say their unit was failed by American leadership in more ways than one. A US soldier killed in Donald Trump's war with Iran could have been saved if Pete Hegseth's Department of Defense had responded to her command's request for more medical supplies, according to a new interview. Master Sergeant Nicole Amore was one of 6 US service members killed in a retaliatory strike in Kuwait on March 1st, just days after Trump authorized joint US-Israeli attacks on Iran. Survivors of the devastating attack, which also left 20 people wounded, previously said they were dangerously exposed and unprepared to defend themselves despite being on a list of potential Iranian targets. Now, Amore's colleagues have revealed that the unit also requested more medical support in the weeks preceding the strike, but they were ignored, according to CBS News. This is a failure, Major Steven Ramsbottom told the network. She could have been saved. She fought the whole way and was trying to stay alive. This failure could have been avoided. Ramsbottom told CBS that after the base in Kuwait was struck, the operating base that was hit, he expected ambulances to rush to the scene to treat the dozens of service members pulled from the rubble. There wasn't that. He said it was like, oh man, we're on our own. Early on March 1st, anti-missile alarms had warned the soldiers to take cover in a cement bunker. But later, the all clear sounded. A drone then smashed through the tin ceiling of the soldiers' work area, spraying shrapnel in all directions. The scene was chaotic as the survivors rushed to find a local Kuwaiti hospital to treat the wounded and scrambled to find civilian vans to transport them. If there had been a doctor, aid station or more than one ambulance at the post, Amore could have survived her injuries, Ramsbottom said. 2 other soldiers who spoke on the condition of anonymity, speaking out against Hegseth, said the command had asked army leadership for more medical personnel and supplies ahead of the strike but never received them. Another survivor, Master Sergeant Anne-Marie Carrier, told CBS that the army hadn't planned for a mass casualty event or run through any possible scenarios before Trump greenlit the military campaign, which the Pentagon has called Operation Epic Fury. She said Amore was still breathing as she was hoisted into a passenger van. A medic joined them in the van but didn't have the supplies she needed to treat the airway and stabilize her. By the time they arrived at the Adon hospital, Amore had stopped breathing, said the major, the Master Sergeant who described Amore as her best friend. She died at the hospital that day. Thank God that there are troops speaking out and telling the story of the lives that have been lost, American troops, their friends who they had to see die, who they couldn't do anything for because Pete Hegseth didn't leave them equipped. He did not care about the planning of this war, and that hits a little closer to home. It's a little bit more upsetting. Obviously, it's hard to get more upsetting than this. But because Hegseth was the one pushing for this war, Politico detailed reporting from the Oval Office and then the Situation Room meeting Donald Trump had with advisors, and then the meeting in the Situation Room with Netanyahu, which in and of itself is disgusting. While General Kane was pushing back against the possibility of war on Iran, as Susie Wiles was, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, although I'm not giving any of them credit here, they ultimately all capitulated. It was Hegseth, the guy who said he had woken himself up to the failure of the neocons and the nation building and the endless wars in the Middle East, who was also pushing for war on Iran. Now, I don't know if the Israelis have something on Hegseth or if it's just that he's a radical, brain-broken Christian Zionist, but he was one of the people. So not only was he pushing for this war, but at the same time as he was pushing for it, he wasn't thinking about it. He wasn't looking to equip troops with the medical support they needed, the tactical support they needed, the cover they needed. He wasn't thinking about that. He was just thinking about what line from Pulp Fiction he was going to deliver at his weird demented Bible study. That's it. So the guy pushing for the war was not thinking of how to carry it out. And is there anything more Trump administration than that? Announcing your big beautiful plan, it's going to be so great, but thinking that it's just a TV show, it's just a movie, it's just going to be action-packed fun, and not actually doing your job. That is in essence the Trump administration. These big, I don't want to call them bold ideas like they're smart, but just huge announcements of nonsense policy that will never come to fruition, that don't actually address people's material conditions or needs, and then fall flat because the people in these positions don't actually care to do the job of governing. They don't know how to. They don't want to know how. They see themselves as movie stars, TV stars for the Donald Trump news administration. So it's unsurprising that Hegseth did not plan ahead, that he did not think to, that he did not consider the lives that would be lost. No, instead it's all bloodlust from Pete Hegseth. And Mark Kelly called him out for that in a clip that I want to end with.
And I'm going to give you one more chance to address a question here. It's my understanding that the definition of no quarter is that legitimate offers of surrender will be refused or that detainees will be executed. Is that your understanding of the definition?
The only entity that would kill detainees or target civilians is the Iranians, and they're the ones being crushed.
So
it's the Iranian
military and their military capabilities.
The question is, do
I
you
disagree completely
understand?
with your articulation.
No, do you understand the definition that I just read you? Because that's the definition from your department's law of war manual. Is that your understanding? And I'm gonna just get to the point here.
We fight to win and we follow the law, Senator.
Okay, so your quote was, "We will keep pushing, keep advancing, no quarter, no mercy for our enemies." And yesterday, you did not clarify whether you stand by this statement. So I'm going to give you another opportunity to clarify if that is what you meant. Do you stand by that statement you made on March 13th?
We have untied the hands of our warfighters. We fight to win, and we follow the law.
Okay, so you're not clarifying. So you stand by that statement. So you're the Secretary of Defense. The things you say matter. And your response here, right now, makes it clear to the American people exactly why you are not right for this job.
It makes it clear to our enemies, Senator.
He just loves killing. Like, that's it. And he thinks it's a game. He thinks it's funny. That's why we saw those social media posts from Hegseth. He thinks he's flexing his muscles. That is not what this is. These are people's lives. This is serious. But this is a deeply unserious administration. I think we should just come back to the Logan Roy quote more when talking about Donald Trump and really MAGA in general, that these are deeply unserious people. These are, to quote Logan Roy, not serious people. They do not take their job seriously. And they talk about government being broken, and they can do so because they are the ones breaking it. We need more serious people. We need the Zoran Mamdanis who can show that big, bold, structural change of government can actually impact people's lives instead of just wasting your tax dollars killing brown people in the Middle East, because that's what Pete Hegseth wants to do. But that's what he's getting called out for. And we are going to continue to on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you.